I am someone that used to think sex was just pleasure, a private act between two people. But the day my spiritual eyes opened, I saw what truly happens, and I've never been the same. I saw bodies that looked alive but souls in chains. I saw faces disappearing in the dark, destinies exchanged, virtues drained. And each time someone thought they were just having fun, something sacred was being traded. My name is Ada, and for years, I worked as a market woman but also one who could see beyond the natural. But what I witnessed in the secret world of intimacy, it's something the world isn't ready to hear. Yet, today, I must speak.
Welcome to Dangerous African Confessions HD, where we uncover hidden truths and real confessions from those who've seen what most of us can't. In today's story, you'll hear the chilling confession of a former spiritual worker who reveals what really happens in the spirit when two people become intimate. She says she saw how demons disguise themselves as desire, how covenants are sealed through pleasure, and how destinies can be stolen through a single night of weakness. Viewer discretion is advised, not because of what you see, but because of what you feel inside your spirit. This is her story.
The ultimate truth is that I never planned to see into the spirit world. To be honest, I used to be like every other church woman, praying for God to bless me, fasting when I could, and asking Him to use me. I just wanted to be close to God. That was all. But somewhere along the way, I started asking for something more. I remember I used to pray, God, open my eyes. I want to see what others can't see. I didn't know those words were opening a door. I didn't know I was asking for something I wasn't ready for. At first, it started small. I would dream about people, and the next day, or few days, what I saw in the dream would happen. A friend would fall sick, and I'd already have seen it the night before. A woman would come to church, and I'd know what she was going through before she spoke. People started calling it a gift. My pastor started saying, "You have the spirit of discernment, my daughter." And I believed him. But I didn't realize it wasn't discernment, it was a door that had been opened to another world, and I didn't know who truly opened it. Now, the deeper I went, the more strange things began to happen. Sometimes, during worship, I would feel a heavy presence behind me. It felt like someone breathing near my neck, even when no one was there. Other times, I'd see shadows move at the corner of my eyes, and faces that weren't human would flash for a second. So I remember one night, waking up at exactly 3:10 a.m. something touched my leg. I thought it was a dream until I felt a hand drag me off the bed. I screamed. But my voice didn't come out. And that was the night I saw them for the first time. They weren't fully human, half shadows, half light. And one of them spoke, saying, "You wanted to see, didn't you? Now you will see everything." From that night, I started seeing things I couldn't explain. When people talked, sometimes their faces would fade and I'd see another image behind them, an old man, a snake, a crying child. I began to see when someone carried light and when they carried darkness. And that's when people began to seek me. Church leaders, young girls, men who wanted understanding to their issues. They'd come to me secretly, asking, "What do you see about me?" And somehow, I could answer them. I thought it was a divine gift. But later, I realized, it wasn't God showing me these things. The honest truth is that everything looked spiritual, but something inside me was changing. I started losing peace. I couldn't sleep without feeling washed. When I prayed, my chest would feel heavy, like something was pressing it. My dreams were filled with strange visions, people sleeping together, blood dripping from beds, and invisible cords connecting their bodies. At first, I didn't understand what those visions meant. But the more I prayed for revelation, the clearer they became. And that is where I began to see what happens when two people sleep together. And that was when my so-called gift became my greatest torment. Now, let me tell you this, one evening, I was at a friend's house when her boyfriend came over. As they hugged, I suddenly saw something in the spirit, a black thread coming out of her chest, wrapping itself around his, and then something like smoke entering both of them. When they left the room, I sat there shaking. That night, I prayed, and I heard a voice saying, "Now you will see what binds men and women." From that day, I couldn't close my eyes to it. Every time someone talked about relationships, I'd see those same invisible cords. When I walked past couples, I'd see light between some, but darkness between others. I was no longer living like a normal person. It was like walking through two worlds, one physical, one spiritual, both real. Then one day, I met a woman who changed everything. She was a prophetess from another city. After a service, she pulled me aside and said, "Child, you have the eyes of the seer, but they've been opened by the wrong altar." That statement she made shook me. I didn't understand what she meant, but deep down, I knew she was right. Because even though people said I was anointed, I felt empty, and the visions kept getting darker. Soon, I started seeing people in ways that terrified me. Even when couples came to church for prayers, I could see their spiritual state as they held hands, one filled with light, the other with chains. Sometimes, I saw women carrying babies that didn't belong to them spiritually. Other times, I saw men walking with shadows of women they'd slept with still tied to their backs. And when I'd ask, "Who is this woman in your shadow?" they'd freeze. It was then I realized something no one talks about in church. The honest truth you must know today or take from this is that every sexual act is a spiritual transaction. It's either a covenant of light or a covenant of darkness. There's no neutral ground. And when two people sleep together, their souls meet first, and what you carry in your spirit gets exchanged. But one thing that broke me was when I saw what happens to people who sleep with those under demonic influence. You lose your drive, your peace, and even your ability to pray. In the spirit, it looked like your essence had been drained. It is no longer you walking, something else was. I remember seeing a woman who had multiple partners. In the spirit, her soul was fragmented, like pieces of her were scattered in different people. She smiled in the physical, but her spirit was crying. She didn't even know she wasn't whole anymore. I lived with this torment for years, thinking God was showing me these things to help people. But I later realized the truth. I had become a tool, used to observe the very transactions that enslaved others. The altar that opened my eyes was not of heaven. And by the time I understood it, it was too late. Because those same spirits that showed me the secrets of others had already started claiming me. You know, there are nights you never forget. And there was this night, the bed turned into an altar. For me, this one changed everything I believed about love, pleasure, and what really happens when two bodies touch. I used to think a bed was just a bed. But that night, I learned that in the spirit, a bed can become an altar. You see, it started with a visit. A young woman came to me crying about her relationship. She said the man she was dating used to love her deeply, but suddenly he changed, stopped calling, stopped caring, and started acting cold. She wanted me to check what went wrong. At first, I didn't want to. I was already tired of these visions. But something pushed me, and when I prayed, my eyes opened. What I saw shocked me. I saw the man and the woman in a room, the same room they used to sleep in. And as they began to touch, the whole atmosphere around them shifted. The bed glowed faint red underneath, like fire hidden under smoke. And I saw hands, not human hands, arranging things beneath the bed, like priests preparing a sacrifice. That's when I realized the truth. Every act of intimacy happens on an altar. The question is, whose altar? In their case, it was not God's. Because as they joined, I saw something rise, a dark figure with many faces. It stood at the corner, watching silently. And when they finished, I saw that figure place a mark on both of them. It was invisible in the physical, but clear in the spirit, a chain connecting the two. You will see the next morning, you will wake up feeling heavy, sad, and confused. She thought it was normal. But what I saw was that part of her virtue had left her body. It was like a withdrawal, not of energy, but of destiny. From that day, I started observing more. Every time people came to me asking about their love lives, I'd see the same pattern. If the relationship was built on lust or sin, the spirit world recognized it instantly. I must tell you this now, demons don't need permission, they'd attend the union like witnesses at a wedding. You see, sometimes, I saw altars made of mirrors. Sometimes, beds surrounded by snakes. Sometimes, faces of people they'd been with before also appearing, because in the spirit, nothing is truly forgotten. Each partner leaves a footprint. Each act opens a door. The thing I was facing and seeing got worse one night when the vision came to me personally. I was praying for deliverance from these constant images, but that night, something strange happened. I fell asleep and saw myself standing in a dark room. At the center was a bed. And I heard a voice say, "This is where destinies are exchanged." I saw a man and a woman lying there. But when they joined, I didn't just see their bodies, I saw their souls rise above them, meeting like vapors in the air. Then I saw something like light flowing from one to the other, but one side's light dimmed, while the other became brighter. And then a dark cloud covered them both. When I woke up, my heart was beating fast. I couldn't breathe. I realized what I saw wasn't a random vision. It was a spiritual law. Every time intimacy happens, something is transferred. Sometimes, it's love. Sometimes, it's pain. And sometimes, it's a curse. And the truth is, after that dream, I became afraid of what I could see. Because the next time it happened, I saw something even worse. There was a young man in our fellowship, a good singer, full of fire for God. He fell into temptation with a girl from another church. That night, as I prayed, my eyes opened again, and I saw his spirit kneeling before a strange woman sitting on a black throne. She looked half human, half spirit. And the same moment he was with that girl physically, I saw him spiritually kneeling before that throne. When they finished, I saw her press something on his forehead, and his light went out. He still goes to church, still lifts his hands, still sings, but in the spirit, his altar is dark. What happens mostly is that, if care is not taken, you will stop attending church, lose your joy, and become addicted to pornography. You won't even understand what happened. But I will tell you today, if you find yourself in such situation, the sad truth is that, you are not just struggling with sin, you have been initiated through intimacy. The night I saw our sinner's issue broke me. Because I realized how the devil hides behind pleasure. He turns intimacy into worship, not to God, but to himself. And the bed becomes a place of sacrifice where people offer their purity, their peace, and sometimes their destiny without knowing it. When you sleep with someone, you're not just joining bodies, you're joining histories, spirits, and altars. And if that person has a dark covenant, you become part of it. If they carry ancestral spirits, you inherit them. And that's why some people start battling strange attacks right after sleeping with someone new. It's not random, it's spiritual contamination. Over time, I began to notice how people change after such encounters. Men who once dreamed big suddenly became weak and distracted. Women who once glowed with peace became anxious, empty, and bitter. Because in the spirit, they had been drained. Their strength was taken as an offering. That's when I understood what the voice meant when it said, "The bed has become an altar." It's not just a place of pleasure. It's a place of covenant. The same way God designed marriage to seal unity through intimacy, the enemy uses sin to seal bondage through the same act. After that, I couldn't look at people the same. Every time I saw people, I wondered which altar they were serving. Some people looked bright, full of peace. Others carried shadows that whispered around them. And it pained me because many of them were church people. We raise our hands on Sunday but sleep in bondage during the week. We call it love, but in the spirit, it's a contract. And many never break it because they don't even know it exists. There's one last thing I must say before I end this episode with you. Because I have about 3 episodes to do with you. Now, that night when I saw the young man kneeling before the throne, I also saw something terrifying, a list of names written in fire, and his name was added to it. I wanted to ask what that list meant, but before I could, everything went dark. Then I heard a whisper, "Only those who break the covenant can escape the list." That statement haunted me for months. And it was the beginning of my own battle to find deliverance, because I soon discovered I was also on that list. In the next part of my story, I'll tell you how I discovered why I was on that list. And what the spirits demanded from me in exchange for the gift I was using. That was the night I realized that every power outside of God comes with a price. And the price was my soul.
You see, stories like this aren't just about fear. They are about truth, the kind of truth most people don't want to talk about. So many lives are quietly breaking because of invisible bonds, spiritual ties created through what people call just sex. When the body joins, the soul follows, and what the soul connects to can determine your peace or your torment. If you've listened to this story and something in your heart feels heavy, it may be a sign that God is calling you to examine your own life, to break free from every invisible chain. The truth is, deliverance doesn't start with oil, or salt, or any ritual. It starts with surrender. It starts when you say, "Lord, I'm ready to be free." And if this message touched you in any way, don't just scroll away. Leave a comment and tell us what stood out to you the most. Because sometimes, your comment could be the confirmation someone else is waiting for. Remember, we share these stories not to judge, but to awaken. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell, so you don't miss the next episode. Until then, stay awake, stay pure, and stay close to God. Because in this world of spiritual deception, awareness is your greatest deliverance. This is Dangerous African Confessions HD, where hidden truths find their voice.